Connecting. Hopefully. Connecting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pineapples and Pixels podcast. I'm your host. I'm your host, Pineapple the Fruit. This is your fellow host.
Me. Hello.
It is
Eats
me.
bit.
I am both of them. It's the Pineapples and Pineapples podcast. I talk to myself.
Yeah.
It's like the Jax Films clone podcast where he just he just talks to himself and like drinks coffee for 10 minutes.
It is me though, 8-bit.
Yeah.
I have played video games.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about your new computer. You got a new computer. It's sick.
I did. We mentioned it before in the podcast, but I just got it this week.
How much does it outperform your last computer?
A lot. A lot. So my last computer, I couldn't run Doom Eternal, like at all. It just didn't run well ever. I can now do ultra settings, 60 FPS, smooth Doom Eternal.
What the hell?
And I want to do more. I need ray tracing so I can get even more advanced Doom Eternal.
Ray Trace Doom Eternal.
So I have an RTX 3060 and an i5-10400F.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing about that is the RTX 3060. That's the impressive part.
Oh yeah, and it's like the full one. It's not like the size. It's not like the mini-sized ones that I put in.
No, it's a full RTX 3060. I think EVGA, I think. Yeah, EVGA. Yeah, I have an EVGA one.
Ooh.
I thought it was an MSI at first, but no, this is an EVGA, and it's a
right.
full-on graphics card. It's a full-on real NVIDIA RTX 3060. Not Ti, just regular, but that's still really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I checked out ray tracing. Ray tracing is really cool.
Hold on. Give it a second.
EVGA, I think. Yeah, EVGA. Yeah, I have an EVGA one.
Ooh.
Change my default.
Do I have
route.
what?
I thought it was an
What
MSI at first, but no, this is an EVGA, and it's a full-on graphics card. It's a full-on real NVIDIA RTX 3060.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, that was weird. Okay, I was rewatching the stream to make sure everything got loaded in because it was acting weird, and I couldn't tell if you were talking or not because it just sounds like you were talking to me in Discord. So I was like, "What's happening?"
No, this is an EVGA.
Okay, no, everything was getting caught. YouTube was just being dumb.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, no, I've tried RTX. RTX is really cool. It looked pretty. It doesn't run super well in Minecraft, but that's because I'm using a shader pack and not the official RTX Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Minecraft is heavy on the CPU.
Oh yeah.
I tried Quake with RTX. It looked really pretty and it was super smooth.
It's so absurd how much better you can make a game like that look by just adding ray tracing.
Just ray tracing. And to prove that I can do ray tracing on higher end games, not just like really low stuff, I played Control with the highest possible settings.
Oh,
and
you
the
got
highest
Control?
ray tracing. And and on the highest ray tracing settings as well.
What?
At a perfect 60 FPS 1080p.
What?
I did turn on DLSS for 1080p, but still.
Was the upscaling 720p?
No, it was one of those weird ones, like 900p or something.
Oh.
But it's DLSS, so you can barely tell there's a difference.
Oh
At
my
least
god.
I can. So I can play Control at the highest settings with the best RTX available.
That is absurd.
It's actually really mind-blowing.
How good does it look?
Look at it. Oh, man. So at first, like a few times, I've looked at things in Control and been like, no, there's no way that's just graphics, right? It is.
Is there
Like, at,
glare
like
on my PC? I don't know.
um, so like you'll go up to like, so in Control, you're walking around. It's actually really impressive how much is destructible in that environment. Like you can
Mhm.
like a wooden wall, for example, you can shoot through it.
Oh.
So that's neat. But the main thing is, you can say go up to like a picture that's in a frame and there's a glass frame on it, and it literally reflects the entire room.
What?
You can see the entire room reflected in that picture.
Oh my god.
And it isn't just like it's not like a rendered situation either. Like at first I was thinking like, oh, they probably just like mirrored it into there. They didn't.
It'd be really dumb to do for a painting.
Yeah, because it's with every reflective surface. It was like they didn't do that. This is real ray tracing happening here. That's
Oh
what
my
this
god.
does. I can see all of this using ray tracing, and it's just like not an illusion. It's real time. That's just how the lighting works.
That's crazy.
My only complaint is I can't see my character.
Oh. That
The
is
character,
weird because it's not a first person game.
yeah, your character doesn't show up with the ray tracing, but everything else does.
That's really stupid. You play in
Yeah, it
third
was really
person.
weird. So that was a bit weird, but besides that, it was really impressive. I was pretty blown away by ray tracing there. Um, I think that's the only game I really tried out that was like a really good example of the ray tracing.
Mm-hmm. There's not that many
Um,
easy to get games. Even on Game
yeah,
Pass,
that
they're
have
all the
really
games
good
are
ray
kind
tracing. So
of.
there's just not a lot of ray tracing.
Yeah.
My motherboard is problematic. I need like a BIOS update or something, so that sucks. It's a Gigabyte motherboard, so it's really difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I can't save any settings on my BIOS, which sucks, but it's not enough to where I can't use my computer. I can't at the moment have my hard drive plugged in all the time.
What?
My external hard drive.
Wait, why is that?
So, um, my USBs are always on,
Uh huh.
and because my USBs are always on, my hard drive, if plugged in, is always on. So if the computer boots and my hard drive is plugged in
Oh,
when it boots, it tries to boot from that hard drive instead of my hard drive with Windows on it. It gets
what the
confused.
fuck?
And I can't change the settings in my motherboard BIOS because it won't let me. Because every time I try to save it, it just doesn't save, and I'm not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the drivers are broken or what. I need to install some new ones, but I need to just figure out how.
Sounds like what my dad's PC does. Which what his PC does is really weird. Is when it turns off, it doesn't turn off power to the USBs. So anything
Yeah.
that's plugged into the USBs still gets power, which makes RGB mice really awful to use when you're trying to sleep.
Yes, I have the same problem. I have to unplug my RGB mouse every time.
Oh, it keeps powering it even when your PC's off.
Yes, that's the problem I have.
Oh, I thought you meant it just started powering it from at the wrong mode. That sucks. That's awful.
Yeah, I don't know how to turn that off. I think the idea is you can charge your phone off of it, but like I don't want to
No,
do
that
that. I just want
sucks.
no. This just
That
sucks.
sucks ass.
I want to know how to change it, but
Is
it
that
won't do it. It won't save the setting. So if you ever figure out like how to make that not happen, tell me.
what motherboard is it?
It's a Gigabyte B. I think B60M.
That is. Why would it do that? That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah,
Man, I
I would
sure
have.
do love not sleeping.
That's like my one issue with my computer. If I could just fix that.
It's like let's make everything really good except give him one major inconvenience.
Yeah, it's a B460M.
Let's make
That
the
is my
PC
one
good for
inconvenience,
PC,
yeah.
but make everything else really minorly inconvenient.
Yeah. And it's just that. That's my only motherboard problem, is that I can't change settings on my motherboard. That's it. That's the only issue I have with my entire PC.
Everything else
I
just
just
runs really
can't.
well.
Everything else is perfect. I just can't change my motherboard settings.
It's
I
so
guess I get
dumb.
another motherboard later on, but I don't want to do that right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so the other day I looked at this and it was in stock. It's already out of stock again.
Yeah, besides the motherboard and the fact that Windows doesn't come activated, which can be fixed, so I already fixed that. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good computer. Powerful, nice, can do all the games. Like I can play anything I want right now. It came with 500 gigabytes of pre-installed SSD drive stuff. I just need to figure out how to get my hard drive to work. My external
Mm.
ones that I didn't have extra storage because I really want to. I guess if I have to, I can just like plug it in after I turn my PC on, and
Mm-hmm.
then it works fine. It's just it sucks to have to unplug it every time I want to turn my computer on.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's on, it's fine, but that sucks. So
Won't say
eventually, I'm gonna
BIOS.
try to fix that. But
Motherboard won't say BIOS. That's really stupid.
yeah, other than that, it's good though. um, there is one game I've been itching to play for a long time that I finally got to
Ooh.
because my computer's powerful enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have played Half-Life Alyx. Now,
So, as someone who can only play at like a locked 15 FPS, how good is it?
it is so good.
Mm-hmm.
So some information at least on how I played it. I was in ultra settings because my computer is powerful enough to do the highest settings on this game. My Quest 2, on the other hand, isn't. So I was stuck to 72 frames per second on the highest possible resolution the Quest 2 can give you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think less than 1440p, but a little bit like it's close to there.
What
I'm
is
not sure exactly
1440p?
what its highest resolution option is, but I was stuck to
It's
that.
2560 by 1400.
Yeah, something like that. 72 hertz. But wow, that game. You really feel like you're in Half-Life.
I can imagine. I mean, even playing it on low settings, it's the realest VR I've ever played. I mean, the lighting alone is amazing.
Yeah. So a couple things just like blew my mind when they happened.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like at the beginning for the most part. So when the game first started out, I've seen the very opening at first a few times now,
Yeah.
like just being in the room and the chalkboards. That I expected. That didn't blow my mind as much because I'm used to it. It still was incredible to see, just to see that city fully
Oh
rendered and
yeah.
detailed, its quality, and to be in it.
The title screen
That was
itself is
amazing.
wacky.
Yeah, title screen is impressive, but the thing that really impressed me was after that.
Mm-hmm.
After you get past that and the initial call from from Eli,
Yeah.
and you keep going, there's this one part, and this is the one that like really made me realize this is a new Half-Life game in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember the big flying things from Half-Life 2?
Yeah.
One of those flew by me,
Uh-huh.
and I got kind of close, and I just saw it fly above me like an airplane. It was insane. It was absolutely incredible. So then I keep going. Um, Obviously you get arrested, which is pretty
Yeah, somebody
frightening.
beats the shit out of you.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of
I
you. They
kept
have a
trying to
gun.
punch them during that sequence, and they were having any of that.
At one sequence though, you have a drone and you're walking around
Uh-huh.
in like parts of the city, and one of those, you know, the big surveillance, they're like the surveillance striders.
Mm-hmm.
One of them came down and it crushed the drone and it almost crushed me. It was right in front of me, and that was the most incredible moment of the entire game. That was like the moment that made me realize
He
really
almost
what
got
I was
crushed.
playing. I almost got crushed. Yeah, like he stomped right in front of me, and I was like, "Oh wow!" Because you see him, you see this giant creature, and it's just like it's like hanging onto these buildings and climbing around them like they're nothing.
Oh my god.
It's just like climbing around the buildings like they're boxes or something, just like small boxes to it. And it's just right in front of you. It stomps right in front of you, and it's massive.
Oh my
And you're in
god.
VR and you see it,
Oh my
and you're
god.
just like, wow. Um,
The first thing that threw me off, that made me go, this is a realistic game again, was when I saw the freaking corpse and I couldn't even
that
get
did it
near it
well.
because it grossed me out.
Yeah, I took it. Did take me a few minutes as well for the corpse because I had it on the highest settings. I had like
Yeah.
HD corpse, so I saw the corpse like,
Yeah.
oh wow, that is an actual corpse.
That's the first time I've ever had a visceral reaction to something in a video game.
Yeah, same here. I got used to it over time, but like at first I was like, I don't want to go near this.
No, and then it's like loot the body and you're like, loot the what?
And then it gets worse because later on you get to this train section. It's like, oh, you see that dead body in the window? Yeah, you need to climb over it.
You have to move it.
You need to climb over that body.
Oh my god.
And you can realistically react with it. Like your hand doesn't go through this body.
Oh
You pick
yeah.
up the head and see the head,
It's so awful.
and you're in VR, so it's even more immersive,
So
and it's such
awful.
impressive looking
It's like grab
graphics.
it, but it's like grab it with both hands and pull it down, and you're like, I don't want to even poke it. It's a dead person. Oh my god, it's so
the
awful.
the detail on Russell's coat where the duct tape is there was impressive. I took a few minutes before I left his lab just to look at it and be like, wow, that is 4K duct tape.
The part that's been most impressive for me thus far, other than seeing the freaking dead body, was talking to the Vortigaunt, because I didn't
Mm,
realize, especially when I watched the playthrough, I didn't realize that it was like that how different it is when something actually talks to you in VR.
yeah.
Like I could barely even tell his mouth was moving and that he was talking to the guy. I assume that they
Uh-huh.
didn't even move their mouths when they talk. They were just like telepathic. But he
Yeah.
looks at you. He keeps eye contact. He talks. You can see his mouth moving. You can see the freaking
He's
syllables. You can see his
he's
emotion.
really yeah. No,
And
I'm
for
pretty sure
something
they
that
did
doesn't
mocap.
exist, it is incredibly animated.
Oh yeah. So I think it's mocapped. So if I'm right about that, credit to the actor for bringing to life um the first Vortigaunt
My brain
like
injury.
in
Ow.
mocap that well because it is really convincing. You really are like, this is an alien species that exists and is real, and their mannerisms exist,
Mm-hmm.
and they do things. Like, it was very convincing. I was like, wow, you actually are like a thing. You exist right now.
Mm-hmm. It's so odd.
It has that classic Valve. The whole game has the classic Valve comedy.
It
Like
does. It's so good.
there's a gun that's thrown to you and it shoots. It's like now it's unloaded. Or that one joke where it's where you go, and like you find a floppy disk, and you're like, oh, floppy disks. That's interesting. We used to save info on these. It's like,
Oh
oh, what happened
yeah.
to it? Well, we started using the internet. It's pretty helpful. And he starts reading off a bunch of stuff. It's like, where are you getting this information? The internet. I downloaded it before the
All of
war.
it? Well, most of it.
Well, most of it, yeah. I downloaded the entire
The
internet.
entire internet before it shut down. I have it all here.
Russell Russell canonically has our podcasts on, on his computer. He canonically has our podcasts on there.
uh,
Every single one of them.
oh my lord. Even ones that don't exist yet.
Yeah.
uh, Oh, there's
It's
that
so
one point. I
impressive.
haven't gotten to it yet, but the one point where he gets really excited about whiskey and he's like, or no, it's vodka. He gets really excited about
Yeah.
vodka and he's like, it's fucking fantastic. He's like, oh, should I have some? It's like, no, it tastes awful, but it's fucking
No, it
fantastic.
tastes awful.
It tastes awful, but it makes you feel good. And they're like, well, why did you want it if it tastes awful? Well, it makes you feel good. Like stuff like that, where he's like, it's so, where it's like, it really brings personality into the characters and again, it has the
Yeah.
humor.
There's nice little conversations that happen between them. Like I haven't gotten here yet,
Oh,
but I have
yeah.
heard that there's a conversation where Alex is like, well, "What was life like before the war?" And he describes like he describes like a club sandwich, and
Oh,
it's just a
yeah.
really fun little bonding moment.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of Wheatley, and I fucking love
Mm.
Portal. So it's nice to
Yeah,
have that little comedy guy in your ear while the whole world fucking
yeah.
collapses.
Oh, but just like I gotta say the main appeal of Half-Life Alex, the one that really sells you on this is a next gen VR game. This is the future of VR.
Uh-huh.
Is Collision.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing else has matched this game in Collision. Not that I've played, at least. I
Mm-hmm.
was walking through a hallway, and I looked at the ground, and there were like a bunch of things on the ground: toilet paper, boxes, tissues, bucket. And I picked it up, and I looked down. I was like, okay, what can I grab here? And I could grab everything.
Oh, yeah.
There was a coat hanging on the wall, and I was like, I can't mess with that. And I put my hand on it, and it moves. I'm like, oh my god, this is a real coat.
Holy shit.
I can pick this up. Later on, you got to look for like resin, and I see this bucket, and I'm just like, can I? And you
Oh,
pick
this
it up,
happened
and
to me too.
you drop a bunch of stuff on the ground, and there's resin, and they're like, wow, there's things in this bucket, and I can throw it on the ground, and it realistically reacts.
Dude, the resin
Look how,
places are so awesome sometimes.
yeah,
Like when you find yourself sifting through like office cabinets and you
uh-huh.
find I can't even fathom sometimes you can open the cabinet just because they look like background environments like in every other
Yes,
game
I know. I
ever.
had that. I went to like a train station, and I saw that. And I was like, no way these open. No way these open. These don't look like they even open. No one ever edits these to open. Holy shit, they open.
Dude, they really think of everything and it's great because you have to if you want something to feel real. Like they put so much effort into making the
I
world feel like
so
the real
rarely,
world.
yeah, I so rarely in this game ever have a moment where I interact with something and don't feel like it's a real thing. When
Oh yeah.
I think back to playing this, when I like my memory of playing this, I don't feel like I'm still. I don't feel like I'm playing a video game.
It
I
doesn't.
feel like I just was in City 17. I just was there. I
It's
went
so
there.
weird because it doesn't feel like a video game, but it obviously doesn't feel like a real life. It's like we've taken
It's
that
like
extra
slightly in
step and
between.
we've blurred the line a little bit more.
Yeah, just like this is insane. This is actually crazy.
I think Half-Life Alyx is going to be the most immersive VR game anyone's ever played for a very long time.
Oh yeah, very much. Unless they make another one, because I would equate Half-Life Alex to Half-Life One,
Mm-hmm.
in that it pushes the industry insanely forward and is revolutionary, but it is not the complete indulgence into that ability
Oh
that
yeah.
Half-Life Two is. Because Half-Life One revolutionized the shooter genre, but then Half-Life Two came around. They're like, all right, now that we've introduced these ideas in small ways, now we're gonna really play with it. And I
Hmm.
think that's what's going to be next. I think they did that with Half-Life Alyx, and the next VR Valve game is going to be even more impressive.
Oh, oh my
A part
god.
of me hopes Half-Life 3 is in VR, and another half doesn't.
Oh yeah. I think they should definitely make another VR game. Again,
Yeah.
my stance last time was that it's probably not going to be Half-Life.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
but I
If it
think
is, I expect a spin-off. I expect like Half-Life Shepard.
Half-Life Shepard. We never learn what happens to Shepard, and it pisses me off.
Oh, but that could be the perfect Half-Life VR spin-off. Half-Life Shepard.
Shepard fucking breaks out of the void.
He breaks out of the void. He just like teleports into the events of Half-Life 3 and it's like, all
Shepard
right,
punches
guys.
nothing so hard he breaks it.
He punches so hard that he accidentally falls through the timeline, and you have to work your way through every event in all of the Half-Life series.
Oh my
And then at the
god.
and then at the end of the game, you stumble upon Gordon Freeman and Eli Vance looking at each other and like, "Oh, shoot, who the fuck are you?"
That would be honestly perfect because then they have a way
Going to the
to
Borealis.
yeah, then they have a way to find and then they have a then now that because they okay, they already have the motivation to find Alex, but now they have the
Yeah,
means.
yeah. They have like another guy to help.
They have a guy who's
I
broken
wouldn't be
out of whoever
surprised.
Alex is.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised honestly if Half-Life 3 is a game where they just take all of the Valve characters that are canonically in this universe and like here's
Oh yeah.
everyone. I don't think Portal characters would be there, but there's
Hmm.
potential. I doubt it, but maybe.
I think they're definitely gonna have to include at least a little bit more Aperture if they want to do
Yeah,
Borealis. But I
they
don't
definitely
think you're
should have.
going to like
But I
Aperture
don't.
Science Centers or something.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't expect. What's her name? Shell.
No, Shell's not
Don't
gonna
expect
pop up.
Shell. Not. Yeah, don't expect Shell to ever pop up. But I. They definitely need to do more of Aperture. um. But no, just Half-Life Alex is incredible, and one of the really good things, one of the things that I love about Valve games, that I think pretty much anyone who's played a Valve game, who's been alive for a Valve game's existence and release,
Hmm.
knows, is that when you get one new Valve game, you get like a really new Valve game, like Half-Life Alex
Oh
is,
yeah.
where you get a new engine. It isn't just a new Valve game.
Oh yeah.
It isn't just a new game. You
Like
aren't
Gold
just playing
Source
a
to
triple.
Source. Oh my
Yeah,
god. And
you
Source to
don't
Source
just.
2.
Hmm. So when the first Half-Life game came out, everybody pretty much knew this. Even people who didn't have the internet knew this because they got demo discs. They actually
Hmm.
got discs with the games in them that you could buy, or you would get for free with magazines
Huh.
of those mods that people would make.
Oh my god. That's so
I,
cool.
I learned this recently. So I watched somebody's video on it, and they're like, "Yeah, I didn't have internet that much, or this I had like really bad dial up."
Hmm.
But what happened is magazines would give me a disc of that free modded Half Life game that a fan made, and I got to just play it. I just got a free Half Life game. All I needed was the Source engine installed with Half Life One,
That's
so that
awesome.
so everyone pretty much knew you weren't buying just Half Life One. You were buying the entire Source engine. You were buying a ton of games. Half Life Two comes around, that exact same thing happens. You get a whole bunch of
Oh yeah.
really impressive fan made video games with it.
There are so many games based in the Source engine that are fucking amazing that started out as Half-Life mods. Like Stanley Parable started as a Half-Life
Yeah,
mod and turned into an amazing game and is also
yeah.
getting a remake now. Like
Oh, and a good number of them are free or cheap,
oh
and
yeah.
they're on the Valve store.
It's Valve approved. It's amazing.
Black Mesa started out as a Half Life Two mod.
Somebody literally went, fuck you, Half-Life runs bad, I'm going to make it better to Valve, and then made Half-Life update, and Valve was like, this is amazing. You made our game better. I'm okay
You
with
made our
this.
game better. Here, how about we literally fund you? So yeah, Valve put out a really shit version of Half Life One in the Half Life Two engine. and it was never good. It was infamously bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so fans took it upon themselves to be like, okay, we're gonna make a game called Black Mesa. We're gonna remake Half-Life One, and we're gonna do it right. And they're doing this, and it's a really cool mod. And Valve looks at it. Now, any other company in the industry would look at this and go, "How dare you?" And they would take it down, DMC strike it immediately, like Nintendo does.
Mm-hmm.
Valve is awesome, and they looked at that and went, "Damn, that's a really good job. How about we literally hire you and fund you, and we will sell it on our store for $20."
So cool.
So now we have Black Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
And so Half-Life Alyx brings a completely new engine, the Source 2 engine, which is kind of one of the most impressive engines I've seen in a long time.
Uh-huh.
The visual details this engine allows for, as well as it just being a Source engine, these are beautiful, beautiful graphics.
Mm-hmm.
These games look breathtaking at its source, so it's not difficult to learn how to use it.
Oh yeah.
There's already a Half-Life Alyx mod that exists that completely changes the way the game. It's a new game. There's already a bunch actually
People
of
have
fan-made
already
Half-Life Alyx games.
people have already written um Half-Life 1 combat, or not Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2 controls with first person into Source 2. People have already written that. People have already
Yes.
ported entire
They
maps.
don't even need to be VR. We're getting to that point.
Oh yeah, and it's only been a year. Huh.
Like 2 years, I think.
No,
I
it's
think it
only
came
been
out
a
in
year.
2018. Oh wow.
Half-Life Alyx came out in 2020.
It did. Spit water. Hold on.
Huh.
It did. It
Yeah,
did
that
come
was the
out last
reason
year. I
it
thought
went
it
on
was a 28
sale.
game. I thought
No,
it
that
was
was the
2018.
reason it went on sale, was because it was a year
Oh
old.
yeah. I don't know why I thought it came out in 2018. This makes more sense. That's a good 2020 game.
Definitely, I think 2018 was the last pleasant year we've had, like really good year for video gaming. So whenever I think of a really good game that came out, I'm like, that probably came out in
Mhm.
2018.
Yeah. I don't know if it came out in 2020. I guess it did. It came out like a month before Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Like if somebody asked me when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, I'd say probably
Yeah.
2018. Like it totally did not come
Yeah.
out in 2018, but I would totally be like that
Yeah.
sounds like a reasonable guess.
Yeah, I didn't realize it came out then. Huh. So it's only a
And
year old. So this is definitely one of those games that just like, wow.
it's so good.
It
So
is
good.
one of the most insanely impressive. Just video games.
Video
One of the
games.
best VR games I've ever played.
I think it's safe to say it
Um,
is the best VR game right now.
oh yeah, totally. Either that or Boneworks are probably the best VR games in existence. I would argue Half-Life Alyx wins though,
How about Alex wins?
just because it's a Half-Life game, and
Mm-hmm.
also there are things Half-Life Alyx does better than Boneworks.
Oh yeah.
Boneworks is
And
kind of
Boneworks
the
doesn't even
demo,
claim to be a game. Yeah, it claims to be
the tech
basically
demo,
yeah, it
really.
claims to be a tech demo.
Which is
Um,
kind of what happened actually. It's kind of the tech demo to Half-Life Alyx if you didn't know the story behind that.
what?
Yeah, Boneworks. The people who made Boneworks,
Mm-hmm.
when they started that out, um, Valve looked at them like halfway through the project and were like, "Wow, that's really impressive. You want to help make a Half-Life game?"
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, Valve actually took a lot of inspiration from the Boneworks team and actually had a lot of the Boneworks team help them with Half-Life Alyx.
That's freaking amazing.
I think a good number of the Boneworks developers did actually work on Half-Life Alyx, or at least help Valve understand how to deal with these things well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that that game started before Half-Life Alyx, so yeah, Boneworks directly led to Half-Life Alyx.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Dude, it's VR is so cool.
yeah. Oh, like the quest itself is neat and all, but then you go one step ahead that extra one step, and you get games like Half-Life Alyx where you have like just that one step of having a link cable to a really good PC,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a Half-Life Alyx type experience, and it's insane. I
So good.
feel when I'm playing Half-Life Alyx, I feel like I've truly entered the next generation of video games.
Half-Life
I
Alyx makes
haven't
me
felt
feel like
that
a video game. It's so weird.
yet. I feel like I've bought a new console and this new revolutionary game has come out and it's just completely changed everything. I feel like I have a PS5 right now. It's so good. I feel like I did when I first got my first 3DS. That's how I feel.
Oh
When
yeah.
I got my first portable handheld console, that is the same feeling I get playing Half-Life Alyx.
This
Just
is
because it's insane.
oh, it's so good.
The only real complaint I can give the game is that it's very difficult to get into.
What do you mean?
Not to like play. Once you get it, like once it's running, it's amazing and it's incredibly well paced.
Mm-hmm.
I mean to actually afford to play this game.
Oh yeah.
That is the one very valid argument anyone can make about Half-Life Alyx. It did cost me $1,600 to play this game.
I think if it were to release on PS5's PSVR, that could be like the best possible move for this game.
That's true.
Is if
That
it
actually
was.
would be a really good decision, and it's completely plausible, admittedly.
Oh yeah, because they're designing because the or PS5 VR controllers look really good, like they would work for Half
Yeah,
Life. The new I don't know what the headset looks like, but I'm assuming it's going to be good and it'll be affordable for people who already have PS5s. It'll be
PS5s
more
aren't that
affordable than
expensive.
buying
They're
a
really good deals.
it'll be more affordable than buying a $200, $300 headset, and then buying a link cable, and then buying a piece, and buying like $1,000 PC, and then buying a
Yeah,
game.
it's definitely more affordable, and I think it'd be a good choice. I definitely think at some point Half-Life Alyx will probably come to a console. May not be the PS4, probably the PS4. No, it'd probably be the PS4. I don't think Xbox
I
has
think
a
it's gonna be
headset.
PS5.
But yeah, that's what I meant. Had PS5, not PS4.
Mm-hmm.
It can't run on that; it would die instantly.
Oh.
But PS5, I think, would be like later on in the PS5's lifespan. I think Half-Life Alyx will get a PS5 port. It'll be toned down, obviously, but I definitely see it happening. Because like
Mm.
Half-Life One got a PlayStation port.
Mm-hmm.
I think Half-Life Two did
Half-Life
as
2
well.
got a PlayStation port in the orange box.
Yeah. So I think there will be a console version of Half-Life Alyx one day.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be anytime soon though, so don't bet on it. But I think one day that'll happen, just so they get a better install base and more people have played the game. Because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Half-Life Alyx is a game that it's a very big privilege to play it, but
Yeah.
also it's one of those games that within the next decade you should definitely do what you can to try
Yeah,
it.
it sucks because it's one of the games that is going to lead the industry. It's the number one. It's the number
Uh-huh.
one most played game in the industry. It's
Yeah.
it is absolutely batshit insane,
Half-Life
and yet
Alyx
it is
does
the hardest game
exactly
to play.
it does
One way.
exactly what I expected. This is
Uh
not an
huh.
unexpected thing though, because it's a Half-Life game, and it does that perfectly. It is a Half-Life game
But
where that entry point is a problem, and that is a constant thing that Half-Life is
mm,
known for. Half-Life 1, you needed insane hardware to play it. Half-Life 2, you needed insane hardware to play it. People had the same rate. The people who got upset about the Half-Life Alyx costs so much to play it reacted the exact same way when Half-Life 2 came out because it was the exact same situation. You needed $1,000 computer just to run Half-Life 2, just to do those physics effects.
oh.
So it's not unprecedented. It's definitely normal for
Mhm.
pretty common for the next like a Half-Life game to really just be like, "Fuck your computer, time to buy a new one."
uh,
I do think it's a little. Um, I do think it was a little mean of Valve to do that and be like, and also be like, "All right, here's this $1,000 headset we want you to buy to play this."
yeah. Huh.
When I don't think the Quest 2 existed yet, did it?
Quest 2 did not exist when Half-Life
No.
Alex came out. So
Yeah.
at that
At
point, the
first,
cheapest
when it
headset you
was
could probably get for PC was maybe $400.
yeah, at the time when it came out, and that was the case, I think that was a really unfair move because you needed $1,000 upgrade pretty much, and you need $1,000 headset. That was a little much. I
Mhm.
think Valve should have considered making it a bit cheaper to get a better install base.
Mm-hmm.
But they got lucky in that the Quest 2 exists, so now Half-Life Alyx is more viable.
Mm-hmm. Oh. You know, for how great the Valve Index is supposed to be, I keep hearing all this shit about it. How it constantly breaks. Like, for $1,000 headset, I haven't heard that much breaking with any other headset. Like, the
Huh.
wires are constantly breaking, the
Oh
joysticks are
man.
always drifting, the triggers break
Ooh,
sometimes.
won't buy it then.
Like,
Honestly, with my Quest 2, there is one upgrade I would potentially like, and that I would really like to get hand. Um, I want to get haptic gloves.
haptic gloves?
I want haptic gloves. I want
Mhm.
VR gloves. I want gloves that in VR will actually just be hands.
That'd be sick. People are
I
making
don't.
cheaper versions of that now, like
They
consumer
are. It's
versions.
getting there.
It's
I
so
think
awesome.
soon it might be an option. I think within the next few years we'll see games try to use that, and Half-Life Alyx will probably get an update for it.
Uh huh. I
It's
mean,
probably already
what
launched
Oculus
for
has
it.
done so far isn't even terrible. I mean, I played with
Yeah.
the Hand Lab back when it was free.
Yeah.
I was playing with the App Lab back when it or the Hand Lab back when it was free, and it was really good for something that just tracks your hands through nothing but cameras. There's no
Yeah.
sensors. It just tracks your hands. It's
That was
pretty
impressive.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it works
Oh
really
man.
well. It reacts perfectly when you grab things. I mean,
Yeah, it's insane.
it's
It's
so
really well
good.
done. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to think of something real quick, but did anything else happen this week? What
Hold
happened?
on.
I
SN30
want to get
Pro.
the.
SN30 Pro 2 is
Oh,
coming out,
nice.
where it's the SN30 Pro Plus, where it has the handles. Except now it has paddles. It has better software. It has
Ooh.
analog triggers, but that's also
Oh,
disableable.
nice.
So it
Nice.
has it has the so you know how PS4 and PS5 controllers have like a grip on them, like how they have like gripping things. It has
Yeah.
that.
Oh, nice. This is like a really good controller.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited about it. It comes out next week ish,
Oh, nice.
and it's only $50, so it's $20 cheaper than the official uh
That's actually
Nintendo
really cheap.
controller. Yeah, it's $20 cheaper than the official Nintendo controller, and the only difference between them is it doesn't have NFC.
Huh. That's really well. That's a really good controller.
Oh yeah,
Damn. I'm gonna have to. I might consider that at some point.
I might.
I
I
have to
think I
save
think
for
I
now,
will.
but at some point I might consider buying one. Just because that's a really good controller.
I think I will pick it up, even if, even though I already have controllers that work with my Switch that works just fine, just because I loved the original SN30 Pro so much, and that one doesn't even have handles. It just is
Yeah.
an SNES controller with
Does it have
analog
analog?
sticks.
Does it have analog
Yeah, it has
triggers?
analog sticks. It doesn't have analog triggers,
Oh. Oh. Oh.
but the SN30 Pro 2 does.
That's what I meant. Yeah, it was the SM30 Pro 2 have an
Oh
analog.
yeah, it has analog like I think
Nice.
the Xbox One that you got.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Although they disable it on Switch, so you can't use it for like Mario Sunshine.
Uh, that's fine. I just use it for phone emulations.
Oh yeah, they added dedicated iOS functioning for this one, which is really nice.
Ooh, nice. That's a really good controller then.
Yeah, it works with PC, Switch, iPhone, Android, D input, whatever D input works with. I'm not entirely sure. But
Hmm. Nice.
it's really good, and it doesn't have the weird thing where you have to press start and then press a button to switch modes. There's just like a toggle thing on the back, and it's amazing. It's just a slider. I genuinely really want this controller.
I might get this, yeah. Now that my computer can run Doom, I'm gonna give a really quick review. I'm gonna speed run my review of Doom Eternal and just say it really, really good. I feel like a destruction every time I play it. Now that I can actually play the game, I feel like a one-man army that is ready to take on the entire world as well as Satan and God at the same time.
I actually started playing through it again when I saw you playing through it. And oh my god, it's so good. Although I did get I get very angry sometimes because I get stuck a lot. Just random encounters. Like sometimes I can just I can get through them fine, but like I fucking hate Marauders. They make me angry. They completely halt every fight, and it's not fun to fight them. It's like their own mini boss, and it's not like something, and it just completely breaks the flow of all combat. So you have to kill everything else and then focus on them. Like it's so annoying.
Yeah, they are a little annoying. Still a nice challenge, but just like the gunplay, just the everything. I'm so glad I can play the game now and enjoy it.
Oh yeah, it's such a good game.
Because there's nothing worse than trying to play a game and just like suffering constantly with being like, okay, how do I fix the settings? How do I make it run? I don't have to do that anymore. I just get to play Doom Eternal on the highest possible settings, and I just get to enjoy it.
Oh. Sorry, I unplugged my headphones.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back.
I can just go.
What?
Everything is it's good. It's such a good game.
It is. If you haven't played Doom Eternal, and you're okay with immense violence.
Yeah, it's very it's obviously incredibly graphic. It's Doom. Be warned, Doom Eternal is Doom.
But it's not like you're ripping people apart. You're ripping the literal manifestation of all evil in the world apart.
I guess that's true. It is demons, but it's still many organs torn.
A lot of organs, a lot of heads blowing up.
A lot of blood. Imagine a hand just going through a demon's head, and that's Doom Eternal.
Yeah, imagine a place called the Super Gore Nest.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
and
imagine.
You have to break that with your hand.
You just get to punch it.
You squeeze it, and it bursts.
If I had to play Doom Eternal in VR, I would actually cry.
I don't think I'd want to do that in VR.
Not even play the game. If they just said you can walk through the environments in VR, I would say no, please, don't make me do it.
It would definitely be odd because of, like we said, with the Half-Life Alyx thing with dead bodies, but also, to be fair, the gunplay in that would be pretty good.
In VR?
Yeah. In VR, I feel like gunplay... Well, Doom Eternal's gunplay wouldn't be good.
Yeah, no. They tried it with Doom VFR, and it did not work well.
Yeah. It's a mouse and keyboard game through and through, but it'd be interesting to see a VR shooter. Maybe that's fast-paced. But yeah, no, thinking about it more, Doom Eternal definitely needs to stay as a...
The only way I was able to even beat Doom VFR was if I literally played it like a regular Doom, except my screen was just my face. I literally just used a PS4 controller and used the look around. So I basically just played regular Doom 2016, but with it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that fully. Yeah, no, that's definitely a mouse and keyboard game best.
Unless you actually really got to run around.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a really good game. Control looked nice is the game I checked out. I didn't really play it, so I'm not going to give a review because I don't... I'm probably going to uninstall it as well. I just don't have the time right now to dedicate to that.
What is Control even about?
I don't know. I skipped every single cutscene. I skipped every single cutscene. I have no fucking idea what's happening.
I'm in control things.
I'm in like the FBI agency or something, and I have a gun, and there's reflective there's like floating people and red mist everywhere, and I have no idea what's happening or why anything is happening, or where I am or why I'm supposed to be there. All I know is that it looks pretty.
All that I know
I
is that I
skipped-
can't see myself in my reflection. I'm a vampire.
Every single cutscene because I just wanted to see the ray tracing. I was like, yeah, this looks really cool. I could do the highest settings with the best ray tracing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm uninstalling this now because I don't know what's happening. I don't have the time to dedicate to this.
Oh. I still think you should try like Battlefield 5. Like not even play multiplayer because why would you do that?
I might
But
try
I think
it if I can.
Battlefield 5 is already a really good looking game.
Is it on Game Pass?
Yeah, with EA Play.
Oh, nice. I'll check it out. I'm just
It
looking for games
has
that I can
DLSS
just
and
see.
it doesn't have. I don't know if it
Oh.
has a good DLSS though. I think it has DLSS 1.0.
Ah. Still though, I just want to
Still.
see what all my computer can do. I went into VR Minecraft. That looked neat. My castle was very large.
And VR Minecraft is a horror game.
It didn't scare me that much, but it was very interesting to look at my castle and be like, "Wow, that's an actual castle now."
I think if you were to start a save from scratch, you would understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, I bet I would. Like a zombie coming at you is probably very scary.
Yeah, at that point you aren't God, and when a creeper comes up behind you and all you hear is it's just the end. It's just it. You just black out.
You're gone. You're like, "Oh no, oh shit."
Like the first
You're
time
walking around in VR and you're like, "Oh, this is a cool tree," and then a creeper sound. You just hear a creeper sound like, "Oh no."
like when I originally so I would so normally whenever I would play it I would just go on Bitcraft and hang out, but I set up a server where I started from just the beginning and I played it with Dawn.
Yeah.
But for some reason the entire time instead of helping me he fucking chased me and tried to murder me, so constantly I was on the run and he would always freaking find me. Like he would always find me
Oh, we gotta try
wherever
that
I
at some
went, and it was terrifying. Because he would
We
just
gotta try
appear, like it's like I would be like, "You can't find me, there's no way," and then just
Oh,
out of
oh no.
nowhere, and then I just like turn my head, and he would just be there, just behind me, right next to
Yes.
me.
Yeah, he just shows up like, "Oh no."
And because everything is fucking huge in Minecraft, again, again, imagine if like just okay, so imagine if you looked at a tree, but every tree was 1 meter by 1 meter wide. It was 1 meter by was just 1 cubic meter. Everything in
Yeah.
Minecraft is 1 cubic meter, so everything is really big to scale. So when a person walks up to you, it's
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
is a person. I think that's. I don't think anything huge happened this week, for the most part.
Oh, there
so-
was somebody made a Metroid Prime 2D, and apparently it's really good.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I don't want to go over it too much because Nintendo will murder it. Or it already
I
has,
also
but it looks
don't-
pretty cool.
Know much about it, so I have it downloaded, but I don't know much about it. I haven't played it yet. That's
I
why I was
downloaded it
looking for
before.
my SN30 Pro. Okay, so I spent all day looking for my SN30 Pro because I wanted to play on it, but by the time I found it, I couldn't remember why I was looking for it.
Oh, you should play that.
Oh yeah, it'd be fun times.
They remade Metroid Prime in 2D, and it's really neat to see what they've done. But also, I'm not going to go over it too much because, like I said, Nintendo is going to murder it soon. So just go download this fan game as fast as you can before Nintendo decides to take it down for no good reason.
Oh yeah.
It literally isn't doing anything wrong by existing, but Nintendo's Nintendo.
It's not even a remake. It's a completely, I think, unique game. I mean, maybe it has the same layout as Metroid Prime, but it's
It's pretty unique. Yeah, it's just Nintendo's Nintendo, and they're annoying. So go check that out if you can. I'm not going to provide a link.
no. Nintendo will beat the
But
shit out
it's
of
pretty
them
cool.
and then shit on them. It was awful.
Yeah.
I don't think they did anything awful this week though, surprisingly. Oh, I tried to change the stand on my Switch today, and I got one of the ones that you had to disassemble your Switch for because I wanted one that was sturdy. But
Mhm.
one of the screws was so tight incorrectly screwed in that I ended up stripping one of the screws in the back of my Switch, and now I'm pissed.
Oh,
I can't get the back of my Switch off, and it was the screw right by where the stand is. So I can't even do like a thing and like
oh
unscrew it. I can
no.
slide it in. I'm so mad.
Oh. Let's see if Nintendo made a mistake this week, because I'm expecting them to. I feel like they did something bad.
I don't know. What does Spawn
I don't
Wave
remember
say?
what the.
I think they updated the Switch. Yeah, they updated the Switch hardware
Yeah.
or the software. They updated the Switch software, and they added a thing to where you can upgrade the OS on. Give me a second. That where you can update the software on the actual dock itself, which is surprising. So it
Neat.
seems like that they're gonna prep for something for updating the dock for some reason.
Huh. Neat. Yeah, I don't think they did anything bad this week, though.
I can't wait until they beat the shit out of 8BitDo and then everyone gets mad at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8BitDo, going back to the SN30 Pro 2, they've actually stepped back from doing a lot of the Nintendo designs because of just fear out of Nintendo. Like, they don't sell any of the SNES or Super Famicom designs anymore, even though those are literally the best designs they have because they're just so afraid of Nintendo.
That's sad.
They still do Game Boy, though, and Game Boy looks sick. Spawn.
I think that's it, though. I think that's all the important things this week.
Big thing.
I wanted to get that out of the way because the entire rest of the stream is going to be Half-Life dedicated. The whole rest of the stream will pretty much just be a Half-Life stream. So that's the morning. So I was doing my job. I was at work today, and I was pondering to myself because I was just doing mindless tasks, and I considered the idea of. So everybody knows like Half-Life 3's thing of just like that concept, the idea of a Half-Life 3, and why people want it. But I had an interesting question that I thought of. Do you think there'd be a Half-Life 4?
I think... Okay, so I have actually an interesting opinion on this. Not opinion. I have very interesting thoughts about this. Because the Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 are so far apart that they basically take place in different worlds. Like, they're completely different eras. While Half-Life Alyx is basically Half-Life 2 2. Like, Half-Life 2...
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird that they didn't take place as far apart as Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 did. So my thought is there even going to be a Half-Life 3 that takes place in this era?
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, do you think that they're just gonna make literally a Half-Life 2 or like what they did with Final Fantasy 7 or something? To where they're just gonna keep making different titles for it, but it's never gonna be Half-Life 3, like maybe Half-Life Episode 3. Half-Life 2 Episode 3.
Oh, Half-Life Gordon.
And then when they do... and then when they finally do Episode 3...
2.
And then when they finally do Episode 3, maybe it'll be like they find the... It might be in a completely different era. Like...
Maybe. I personally think that could have happened, but they aren't going to... Like, that was probably the original plan. But now they kind of just have to make a Half-Life 3. Like, they can't, after all this time, call it Half-Life 2 Episode 3, because it would just be too confusing. People would think that's a game. That's like, people wouldn't think that's a separate game. They'd think it's just an add-on to Half-Life 2.
Oh, yeah.
So it has to be its own thing, I think. But it's interesting because every single Half-Life game that's ever been made has ended on a cliffhanger. That the next game answered. Every single one of them. Would Half-Life 3 do that? And if they just... Do you think Valve has learned maybe not to? Do you think Valve has looked and been like, okay, so we had a massive cliffhanger at the end of Half-Life 2 Episode 2. let's not do that again.
Mm-hmm.
So that we no longer have the stress on our shoulders of having to do
Oh yeah.
a Half-Life 4.
I think
Or
it
do
would
you think
be.
it'll be an open-ended cliffhanger, kind of like Half-Life 1's?
I think they kind of should do
Mhm.
something like Half-Life 1 just for the sake of people not being tortured by a huge cliffhanger for 10 years.
Yeah, they definitely shouldn't do a Half-Life 2 Episode 2 type of cliffhanger.
Because that was an
But Half-Life
incredibly important
1's
character that they
cliffhanger is...
freaking murdered.
Yeah. Half-Life 1's cliffhanger is a lot more closure, at least,
Uh-huh.
which I feel like would be the best way to end Half-Life 3. Like just something that like hint that
Yeah.
like there could be more games, but the story you wanted to hear has finally ended. You finally have closure to the
Oh,
story,
yeah.
but there is more that could be explored in the future. And leaving it open-ended, which Valve
Yeah.
tends to do, they want to leave their game open-ended so that they can return to the Half-Life universe if they want to. But
I think
they
one
don't
of-
have that heavy need to make another sequel.
And it goes back to what I said earlier, to why the only reason I think they did a big cliffhanger like that is because they were making episode 3.
Mhm.
It was going to be concluded. That story was
Mhm.
going to be concluded, and then if they were to do an episode 3, it would be a separate story.
Yeah,
If they were gonna do Half-Life 3, it would be a separate story.
It'd be separate. And fate just didn't turn out that way for them.
I think that's what they wanted, but I don't think they can at that point. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a little bit messier than that.
Yeah, it's
Also, you know
definitely
the
gonna
weird
be...
thing about Half-Life Alyx? The cliffhanger kind of wasn't story based. The cliffhanger was kind of you're getting a new game.
Yeah. It's not really a cliffhanger. It's just like they basically Valve essentially ended Half-Life Alyx going Half-Life 3 confirmed, and that's our cliffhanger.
Yeah, our cliffhanger was we get another Half-Life game.
I mean, that's a pretty big cliffhanger. I sure hope they follow that up with explaining how they're gonna make a new Half-Life. But like, I mean, they could have literally just ended the game, and then just like at the very end have just the text Half-Life 3 confirm he did.
Oh, dude, I can't
They
wait.
could have just been like Half-Life 3 confirmed, and it's like, oh shit.
I can't wait. I can't wait until in Half-Life 3, G-Man reaches through the screen and takes me and puts me in his void.
I can't wait for Half-Life 3, where G-Man walks out of my computer and goes, go
Oh my
fuck
God.
yourself, and then puts me into the void.
Oh my god.
I hope that's how Half-Life 3 opens. It's just G-Man in the void, holding like Adrian Shepard. He's like, go fuck yourself, and then he just instantly isn't there anymore.
Just
If you
get the
don't know what
fuck
I'm
outta here.
referencing, there's a funny video.
Yeah, I
Like,
thought you were referencing that. I couldn't tell if you were referencing it or if you were just coming up with this on the spot. Go
that's how
fuck
Half-Life 2
yourself.
should open. They just violently insert you into the game. Half-Life 2 speedruns are like that.
It's just so violent. Go fuck yourself.
And then you're in the game, it's like, oh shit, point extraction. Point insertion. Oh, but Half-Life 3 will be definitely something. I think they're working on it right now. I think they like we know for a fact that they're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they also said, be patient, this will take time. It's Half-Life 3. Which, you know, we can be patient. We waited a decade for any new Half-Life. It's fine. Take your time. But they basically confirmed a Half-Life 3. So I think, like, if you asked me 3 years ago, will there be Half-Life 3? I would straight up say no. But now there has to be.
Yeah.
They can't not make a Half-Life 3 now. Or at least a conclusive ending to the story.
Mm-hmm.
So there definitely will be a Half-Life 3. It
There's
just
no
might
way that they
take
could
some
just.
time.
Yeah. It probably won't take as long as Half-Life 2 to Half-Life Alyx, just
Yeah,
because
don't
they're not
expect. I would
developing a
say
new engine for it.
you probably don't need to wait another decade. It probably will be like a few years, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't entirely pass up this E3 having Half-Life Alyx, or not Half-Life, Half-Life 3 maybe happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, quick side note: E3 is happening. There is an E3 this
Oh
year.
yeah, I forgot about that. What's going
That's the
on with
big
that?
thing
I don't
we
actually
need to
know what's
mention.
happening.
There will be an E3. It will be online, but it will be an actual official E3. Who shows up for it, I don't know still. But
That's awesome.
there is an official E3 now. I wouldn't put it entirely past the realm of possibility, though, to just I doubt it's gonna happen this year. Maybe 2022 or 2023 would probably be more likely, but
Mhm.
there's a possibility that we could go into the PC gaming section of like that day of E3, and Gabe, what was it? I forget his last name.
Gabe Newell?
Yeah, Gabe Newell. Couldn't remember his last name. And Gabe Newell walks on stage, he's like, "So guys, we heard you like Dota, so get ready." Was it Dota 2 they announced last time?
Oh, it was a Dota 2 card game.
Yeah. So remember the Dota 2 card game you all loved? Well, we're here to announce Dota 3, the card game. And then his mic shuts off, and you just hear Dr. Freeman.
You're just
You get
here.
like the G-Man's time speech, and just
G-Man.
everyone loses their collective shit.
G-Man just comes on and goes, Gabe Newell, you have fucked up your announcements for too long.
He directly addresses Gabe Newell. It's like, Gabe Newell, fuck you.
You can't keep
Half-Life
making card
3.
games.
Actually, honestly, if that were to happen, I think that type of thing would be more
Uh-huh.
likely with Portal. I could see him doing that. His mic it shuts off, and GLaDOS is like, "Gabe, you can't make card games forever." And then it's Portal
Just like-
3 confirmed. But like, if you're gonna do a Half-Life 3 announcement, you just need to have it open with the Dr. Freeman.
Just the
Is it really that time again? Line. You have to do
yeah.
that.
Oh my god, for game announcement that would work so well.
Like, that is the line that you need to hear. And the day that happens, the day we get an announcement that's like Half-Life 3,
Mm-hmm.
the day we get that Half-Life 3 announcement, it will be the loudest audience cheer we have ever heard at any E3 ever. That room will crumble to pieces. It will be such a big announcement.
Oh yeah. Oh. He's
Like,
so
I'm
cool.
just- It's gonna be like a moment. It's gonna be a moment that will be remembered for decades to come.
Oh my
If
god.
that happens. I definitely see them opening with the time
would be-
Dr. Freeman line.
That would be
And it's the
so
perfect
cool.
line.
It's like Gabe Newell starts talking and it's like, guys, we're making Half-Life 3, the card game, and then he freezes. He's just frozen, and then like the actor that voice acts G-Man,
Yes, he
like
walks
dressed
on
up as
stage.
G-Man, walks on stage, and then says the line.
And it's like Half-Life 3. Time Dr. Freeman.
Is it really that time again?
I think I found it. Yeah, I found it. So there's a video that basically emulates what I was mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like this, but the cheers would be like a million times louder.
I really am just saying this is how we think, this is what's motivating our decisions. We're kind of, I don't know how not to think.
Wait, go back. I kind of had it.
I don't know how not to think.
G-Man just kidnaps. Gaben.
He's still.
Oh.
Time?
Oh.
Is it really that time again?
And that's how they would do it. You don't even need to show gameplay. You can just do that.
Oh yeah.
And they could just have that line happen and show the number 3 in orange. And the entire room would scream louder than any person in existence has.
Even people who don't even know what you've never even played a Half-Life game would be excited about this.
I would scream and I wouldn't even be there.
I would scream so loud you could hear it from there.
Yes. Just because the idea of a Half-Life 3 announcement, that is like the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
That is the announcement. Nothing would ever top that. That would be the ultimate video game announcement.
Oh yeah. Is Valve showing up to E3 this year?
I don't know. I don't know who's showing up to E3. We just only recently learned there even will be an E3.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cool though.
Oh, I really hope so.
I don't expect Half-Life 3 this year though.
No.
But I would really like to see maybe another VR game get released.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that's entirely off the table. I honestly expect a Portal game before we get a Half-Life 3.
The thing that was weird with Portal though is that they really closed off the story with Portal.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way they could really continue it is if they kind of played off the because so hold on, this is really weird because Portal 2 is really weird, and the fact that the main campaign really closes it off really well and doesn't end on a cliffhanger at all.
Yeah.
However, the Portal 2 co-op campaign, which takes place after the single player campaign, does leave off with a cliffhanger where you free all of these human test subjects that have been in basically like cryo storage for who knows how long.
Huh. That could be Portal 3 then.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be called Portal 3. It would be called like a pseudonym like Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
Because I don't honestly expect I don't ever expect Valve to make a AAA VR game that is like an official
Oh my god.
like main hitter in a series. I expect it to be a
Imagine if
spin-off.
we fucking got Portal Borealis.
Ooh.
Imagine.
So interestingly enough, there is a game that we do know Valve is working on. Valve has confirmed there is a next VR title they are currently working on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Citadel.
Oh.
That's all we know. That's all we know.
I
All
can't
we
wait
know
for
is
it to be Fortnite.
All we know is it's called Citadel. There might be more information, but I need to check. I think they're looking in to like a multiplayer VR game, so I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility to get a Team Fortress VR.
Mm-hmm. Citadel is such an ominous name. Holy shit.
It is. Okay, it's an asymmetric game. Is one where players take on wholly different roles from another. VR games are right this kind of design. The asymmetry involves one side having a top-down view of the map with the ability to spawn AI enemies, while the other side would likely be down on the map fighting the enemies up close and personally. That's an interesting. That's kind of more strategic.
If that is actually what the game's about, that could just be misinformation.
It could
Because
yeah.
Valve is very, I think Valve has a couple times put like decoys in their code.
What if they're working on Half-Life 3 and they're just saying bullshit right now to convince people otherwise? Like it's actually Half-Life 3 they're working on. They're like, yeah, we're making Dota 4 in VR, the card game.
What if they do all this shit and then Citadel's and they're like, we released Citadel. Surprisingly, it isn't a video game. It's a fucking city. We released a city.
Valve actually, yeah, like all of the information was not technically wrong. It just wasn't actually a video game. The whole time it was an actual city they were talking
It
about.
was a theme park.
Like it's not an actual VR title. Like whenever said it was a VR title, I don't know why everyone thought it was a video game. Anyways, I hope you're ready to fight Hellspawn. I sure am. Gabe Newell grabs his fucking shotgun. and his
Oh my
crowbar.
God. Oh,
But no, I would say there's no way that there won't be another Valve VR game.
do you think that Valve's headset is going to release before the game comes out, or before another VR game comes out from them, or do you think it's going to come out after? Because they
I
were
don't
working
think
on
that-
another headset with like brain stuff.
Oh yeah, that thing. No, I don't think that'll be part of Citadel. I think that's just one of their weird experiments that may not go super well.
No, well, they confirmed that they were working on a headset that had that like not to the it puts you in a coma kind of thing. It just reads certain things to tell if you're like anxious or something. Like it just reads brain. It's just the standard stuff. But they confirmed that they were at least working on another headset.
Oh.
So do you think?
My statement still kind of stands the same. I don't think they'll release the headset for Citadel, but maybe for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Half-Life 3? That'd be really upsetting, though. If I had to buy another headset and it's $1,000 just to play Half-Life 3, I'd be upset. They'd have to really prove to me that that thing is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to have a real HEV suit.
I'm honestly kind of hoping that we somehow figure out a way to move away from base stations.
Yeah.
Because the base state, because I'm so used to quest tracking now that I don't know if I could ever be if I could ever go to base stations and be like, yeah, this is better. having like 4 huge blocks in the corner of my room that I have to connect to my computer.
Oh, yeah. I didn't
just
know the
watch
thing,
me.
actually. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, for most VR headsets, you just have 4 base stations placed at different corners of your room that just track you. They're just sensors.
Oh,
And you have to lead them back to your PC.
it's terrible. No.
That's why
Quest
VR
is
wasn't
much
accessible for so long.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons.
Yeah, no, the Quest is much more advanced than for that.
The Quest VR tracking works so well. It just sucks because it doesn't work as well for things like full body tracking,
Mm-hmm.
which I wish there was a better solution for that. Because that's
Yeah, I
really
know
cool.
that's the case. Yeah. I don't know about Half-Life 3 being a VR game or not. I can't really say. There's heavy potential for it, and there's heavy potential against it, so it's really 50-50.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know how I feel about it either, because I can play both. Half-Life in VR would be really cool, because of Half-Life Alyx,
Mm-hmm.
but also it'd be nice to have a new traditional Half-Life game. So I don't know. Do they even need to make a traditional Half-Life game, though?
I definitely think they do. I think people will be mad if they don't. I think I
Okay,
think they've done their part in the VR industry, and while I
Yeah.
think there's definitely gonna make another VR game, I don't think that their next super major title, like Half-Life Alyx was major, but it's not going to even come close to being as major as something like Half-Life 3. And I think if they made Half-Life 3 as inaccessible as Half-Life Alyx was, it will make a lot of people mad.
That's fair. But I do have an interesting idea of what they could do. Or at least what could happen. So, this Project Borealis.
Uh-huh.
What if Valve looked at that and went, alright, you want funding? And so they fund that. And so now there's multiple different versions of Half-Life 3 with different stories.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the traditional story answered with Valve's funding and it's on Steam. And you have Half-Life 3 VR. And you get the answer to that. And they basically explain it at the end of one of them with the excuse of, well, there's different branching timelines now.
Oh
So
my
there's different
god.
timelines for the Half-Life series. That sounds ridiculous, but this is also Half-Life.
Huh.
Anything could happen with this series. We don't know.
I'm kind of worried about Project Boreas. I just looked it up and they haven't made anything since August last year.
Yeah, from what I've heard, they're perfectly fine. They're just very, very busy. Games take time, essentially.
And especially since COVID happened, they can't like.
Yeah, but they are still working on it,
Uh huh.
which is nice. It'll be interesting because there's gonna be 3 Half-Life 3s.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
There's Borealis, there's Boreal Aleph, and then there's the official one. So there's 3 different Half-Life 3s that are going to exist. And like Valve, if they really wanted to, very much could take those and treat it as here's 3 branching paths of different possible timelines. Like they make their official one, and it's treated as the main timeline.
Huh.
Or actually, no, I think Borealis would be the main timeline. Project Borealis would be the main timeline. Half-Life, their version of Half-Life 3 would be a branching timeline, and Boreal Aleph would be a branching timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And they present it in that way. There's 3 different ways this story can end.
I wonder if, from G-Man's perspective, because obviously there's some weird time travel and shit going on here. So I wonder if, from his perspective, Project Borealis has already happened. Like, all that's gone on, and him somehow in his travels saw Alex and realized that he could change the outcome because for some reason he didn't like it.
It'd be really interesting, and it would also explain Borealis's silence.
Uh-huh.
It'd come back and be like, guys, Valve is funding us, and we're going to lead into Half-Life 3, so... I mean, that'd be the honor of the century. That'd be an incredible honor, though. If Valve looked at that and was like, hey, you guys want literal funding to make an unofficial Half-Life 3, and we're going to allow it to be official now?
Boreal Aleph still looks really fucking awesome.
Boreal Aleph also looked cool. I think they'd talk to them as well.
It's one of the best looking Source 1 games. It is the best looking Source 1 game, only toppled by maybe Black Mesa.
Yeah, the Zen portions at least. I don't know. I don't entirely expect that to happen, but I wouldn't put it past Valve to at least just give them funding. I don't think they'd go with the full on like branching timeline thing, but I could definitely see them funding.
I think they would definitely sign it off on their store.
Yeah, I kind of expect at least one of them.
Although they might not legally be able to, because they're using works from somebody who doesn't work for them anymore. Like using a story that was written by someone who doesn't work for them anymore. I don't know if they can legally allow that on their store.
Good point. They'd probably have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very interesting. Just to consider the idea of what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be really cool though when all of these are out and we get to see the differences.
Mm-hmm.
The difference in interpretations.
Oh yeah, especially not even especially with one, with all of them.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting and really cool, and it'll be very interesting to see how they play differently, because they're all made in different engines.
That's true. They're all different engines. Boreal Aleph is in the Source engine. Borealis is an Unreal engine with its own like tons of things added in.
Oh yeah.
Its own unique styles of things, and then Source 2. That's 3 different engines for a Half-Life series game.
It's gonna be so fucking cool.
And it's nice because if you hate the way Valve ends this, you can go play the original one. You can get the
Yeah.
original ending for Epistle. I actually am more excited for Valve's interpretation because I kind of don't like how Epistle ends.
Oh, really?
Like, it's a good send off, but it's also a little disappointing and like sad. And I don't.
Why do
want
you say
sad.
that?
Well, that's if you read Epistle 3, it ends that way, right?
I have not read Episode 3.
Episode 3 essentially ends with Gordon on a beach. He's like, I don't fucking know who won. Didn't matter. They had a Dyson sphere. I can't take down a Dyson sphere.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't
Although-
matter anymore. Everyone's probably dead now.
Well, if I had to guess, it could have maybe even ended that way because what he wrote was kind of a summary of what Episode 3 would have been.
Yeah.
Or it could have been that maybe they hadn't even finished writing Episode 3.
Yeah. And to be fair, the ending of Episode 3 could change with how interpretations, or it could just be that the ending to Episode 3, because it kind of was like an allegory for Half-Life 3.
Mm-hmm.
Just in like it doesn't really matter anymore. About
Yeah.
Half-Life 3. It's been so long. Doesn't matter. And then Valve came and was like, actually, it does.
I just
We're retconning the timeline.
I just really hope that whatever they do, they don't give Gordon Freeman a voice. Okay, this
Yeah.
is one of the things that I don't actually like about Doom Eternal. Going back to Doom Eternal, they gave the Doom guy, not Doom guy, they gave the Doom Slayer a face, an origin story, and a voice, and now he is significantly less intimidating to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Instead of like a
Definitely
force of
fair.
nature, it's just like a guy that's really angry. And it makes
Yeah.
him a lot less intimidating.
Yeah, they better. I don't think they would because they released Half-Life 2 of all games
Mm-hmm.
when they did, and like Half-Life 2's existence was kind of proof that they know not to give him a voice.
Oh yeah.
Because like they totally could have, and they definitely probably really wanted to,
And
but they chose
gave,
not to.
and it's interesting because they gave a voice to Alex, the person you play as,
Yeah, they
and
gave
that's in
every-
VR. You are Alex.
It's just Gordon. He can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. He's a selective mute. He could if he wanted to, but you don't.
Hmm.
You don't make Gordon speak. It is the rule.
Uh-huh. It's a very interesting rule.
It is an interesting rule, but it usually helps a lot in just portraying that like ongoing narrative and story around you.
Uh-huh.
Because if you give him a voice, you kind of take away the nature of having one of those stories that just unfolds around you without taking the player's control away.
Mm-hmm. Man, what if
'Cause,
that's how Half-Life ends? G-Man just physically takes your controls away.
He picks up your controller like, Dr. Freeman, no more video games for you.
What if G-Man was like the one behind it all, behind Aperture Science falling, behind Black Mesa, behind the survivors of Black Mesa, and behind the fall of the Citadel. It was all one person.
Well, he was
These are
behind Survivors of Black Mesa. That was confirmed.
Mm.
So that's true. Like he specifically mentioned. I think Half-Life 2 it was. Yeah, he specifically mentions he plucked Alex out of the time.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, she was a mere child, but now I fucking want that. Now I want to have Alex. She's a good fucking fighter.
Ugh.
I'm gonna mess up the timeline.
It'd be really interesting if he realized that out of all of the timelines, there's just like 3 specific people. There's like 4 specific different events where people became just ultra powerful and became like protagonistic out of nowhere with Adrian Shepard, with Shell, with Gordon Freeman, and Alex that one time.
Yeah, he just
Every
noticed
person the player has played as has been taken by the G-Man.
What if it's like a really grandiose nature that's explained in Half-Life 3, where like this is a common thing in timelines, and like G-Man's looking at it, it's like, I had to get all of the cards set in place to align for this one thing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been manipulating events so that every single one of them could be in those protagonistic roles, so that his plans could unveil and work. Like it's a ritual or something.
Even freaking Barney.
Yes.
Oh my
Barney is
god.
integral. It'd be like the Zodiac in Gravity Falls. You see a portal gun and a crowbar,
Man,
whatever Alex has.
if you think about it like that, then the reason Half-Life AR is so chaotic makes a lot more more sense. Half-Life AI. G-Man in that series is just completely off the rails.
It's like kind of I don't. Okay. I don't want to deal with this.
Chuck E. Cheese is a restaurant. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Once you hear that line, then you understand how all of Half-Life AI happened.
Yes. No, but I think that like it's possible at the very least that G-Man has been manipulating the events throughout the entire series just so that like a certain future could unveil itself,
Mm-hmm.
where he's able to do the thing he wants to do, and who knows what the thing he wants to do is. Maybe he's the villain, or maybe he's not.
Oh, and I wonder if he failed at one point, because that would explain why we're not getting Episode 3, because that's the timeline where he fails.
That's interesting. I actually saw someone say that recently, where what if the reason Half-Life Alyx's retcon happened is because the death... I can probably spoil this, right?
I think we've been talking about spoilers this whole time.
Yeah, it's probably fine. If you don't know what happened in Half-Life 2 Episode 2, come on.
Mm-hmm.
That's the decade-old game. Most people know.
Oh, yeah.
And you already know the events of Half-Life Alyx, probably.
Because we've been talking about it.
Yeah. What if the death of Eli Vance wasn't supposed to happen, and like when G-Man told Alex, prepare for unforeseen consequences, those weren't the unforeseen consequences he meant for them to happen, that he wanted to happen.
Uh-huh.
He was like, shit, wrong unforeseen consequences. Those are my unforeseen consequences. I gotta edit the timeline. And so he does that. He does the events of Half-Life Alyx. Is like, there we go. Now that's consequences that were not foreseen. And he went like, God damn it, he took her.
Oh my god. Now those are some damn good unforeseen consequences.
What were they about to go do before he died again?
They were gonna go. I think they were just gonna go look for the Borealis.
Right, yeah.
Like he
Is
didn't.
that even gonna happen now? Their
They
motivation
can't just
is
not get
definitely-
rid of it. They can't just get rid of
Yeah.
it. It still has to. It's still gonna be an important part of the story. I just
But
think it's not gonna be
their
the focus of the
motivation-
whole story. It could be how they get Alex out of the void.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Is they
Their
travel there with the
motivations are
Borealis.
definitely different now. Because
Mhm.
originally it was just the Combine can't get this. Now they're like, we need to fucking kill G-Man.
I'm going to hit him with this boat.
I'm going to kill G-Man. I'm gonna ram into him with a boat.
With a fucking really cool boat.
No, that'll totally work. I'm gonna take down an intergalactic god with a boat.
Dude, it is just fact that the Borealis is just the coolest boat.
What if G-Man is actually not invincible like we think, and just like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, like he's just really powerful, but he's not actually invincible at all.
Well, he's never even shown. we've never been given evidence that he's immortal or immortal.
Yeah, we just assumed he was.
We just assumed he's all powerful. For all we
Like,
know,
he could
Alex
just
could
be-
have punched him in the face and stopped that whole thing.
Yes. For all we know, someone could just sneak up behind him and just shoot him, and that's the end of G-Man.
Yeah, no one that we've witnessed has ever really tried to violence the G-Man. They're
How would he
all
even
like,
react? What would even be the reaction, do you think? They'd be like, how would he react as like someone you meet G-Man and he's like, "Hi, I am G-Man," and he just gets decked. He's like, "What the fuck?"
we still even know the G-Man's actual name. What the fuck is
No.
up with that?
Call him G-Man. I hope it is actually G-Man. I hope that's his real name.
I hope it's something really, really stupid. Like it maybe is actually Gary.
Yeah,
Hell, just like, hello, I am Gary.
Gary. I don't like my name very well.
My friends used to call me G-Man.
But yeah, no, you could just deck him, and who knows? That might actually take him down. Never
Imagine.
really get explored. Someone just does that. That's what Adrian Shepard did.
That's what Adrian Shepard did, and that's how they captured him in Half-Life Alyx. That's how he got stuck in the virus-looking thing, is someone just decked him.
Yeah. He shows up in the void like, "Hey, can I get my own game?" "No, fuck you," and then he decks him. "Okay, fine."
I really hope that they either do something with Shepard or the Borealis.
Yeah, I hope Adrian Shepard shows back up again.
I really hope he does. I really
Is
hope.
he even canonical?
What if they try and fucking, no, he's canonical, but what if they try and fucking save Alex and then accidentally grab Adrian through the Borealis?
Well, that'd actually be a really good story beat. That's actually a really good way to deal with that. And you get an extra person on your team.
You get an extra
Like,
person on your
you get
team
Dr. Kleiner
has
to try
been-
and help.
and you get someone that can actually talk about what it freaking feels like to be in the endless void.
Yeah, that actually is a really good idea. They go and get Dr. Kleiner, and it's like, "Hey, can you help us?" He's like, "Maybe," and then they do it. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
it's working, and then Adrian shows up like, "That's not Alex." What the fuck
No,
did
wait,
you do?
hold on. No, he can't talk about his experience in the void because he didn't talk in the original game either. You just have another
He's
silent
also
guy.
selectively mute. He shows up like, "Who are you?" And he just people's at a sign. He's like, "I was at like," and it just says, "I was at Black Mesa." Like, wait, that's- and he just shakes his head, and I was like, "Damn it, Gordon, you speak this guy's language, right?"
He just holds up a sign. Was I just reborn? Am I a child? Oh my god, because he's been in there so long, he has to think he's just like in hell, like he's just dead.
Yeah. Maybe time doesn't pass for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's called In Stasis, so I would assume so. But Alex didn't seem very in stasis when she was screaming for her life, so... Oh dear god.
What happened to the two scientist women that was in Half-Life Decay?
Is that canonical? What is
I don't
Half-Life
know.
Decay? I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's that really weird. So you know how there are a bunch of Half-Life games for the first Half-Life? Blue Shift,
Yeah.
one with Adrian Shepard.
Uh-huh.
Half-Life Decay is a really weird one because that was one of those games, but it never released on PC. It was part of the PlayStation. It was part of the PlayStation ports.
That's interesting.
It was only on PlayStation.
Oh, it was made by Gearbox.
Yeah, I don't know if it's canonical because none of that is ever mentioned again. And it sucks. Like it's a really really bad game.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have heard people that have I have heard people that think, I'm pretty sure it was one of these protagonists is featured in Half-Life Alyx, that think, but I'm not sure. It was the one person, if we're going into spoilers again, it's the one person that's have you seen a playthrough of Half-Life Alyx?
I probably know the spoilers.
Just there's one scene, a specific scene, where there's like a woman talking to a screen. I'm assuming to one of like the god aliens. I don't remember what they're called. About the prisoner, and a lot of people assume, and a lot of people have speculated about who that woman is. And I think one of the guesses was that it was one of the characters from here, because I recognize one of the names, but I don't know where I recognize it from, and I'm assuming it's from that.
That'd be interesting. I don't know. It was a weird game, Half-Life Decay. It was really, really bad. It wasn't very good. And it was only on the PlayStation, so no one could really play it unless you had a PlayStation that you wanted to play it on. So no one really got it either. It was also a co-op game and could only be played in co-op.
Oh,
So,
I
that's
was
why
reading
no
up
one...
on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Let's play it, 8-bit.
No. That sounds like torture. I like the fact that Blue Shift has an ending that was nice.
Oh yeah, Barney just like lives his life.
He just gets to actually leave. That's what I always wanted at least one of the games to end with. Barney genuinely gets to just leave.
Barney experiences no supernatural things except for going to Zen a few times, but he doesn't meet G-Man. He doesn't see any really exceptionally weird things. He just goes to Zen, and he comes back, and then he gets to leave. Like,
it's a really fun game because first of all it's short and it's really well made and really fun. But also it's nice to have a character have some common sense for once and be like, no, my goal isn't to like save the world. I want to go home.
Please let me go home.
Just goes home. That's the end of the game. You get in a car, you drive off, and you go home. With a bunch of other scientists. You actually get out. You just leave Black... And now you're fine.
I would love to see someone recreate all the expansions using Black Mesa's standing as a basic standing point. Like if someone were to take all of the like maybe assets from Black Mesa, that's all you really need. It's just the assets. All the assets are basically there, and just remake all the expansion maps with the stuff that's already there.
Yeah, I'd love to see Blue Shift remade.
I want to see Adrian Shepard.
Poor Adrian Shepard.
Yeah, I really want them to do something with Adrian Shepard. I really hope they don't just decanonize it, because I really hope that they do something with that.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
Also, why are the most dangerous characters in the Half-Life universe all mute? Like the most dangerous characters to G-Man.
I do not know, but they cannot speak.
It's really inconvenient.
Speaking no allowed. Speaking privileges revoked.
You are no longer allowed to talk.
She just shows up. Dr. Freeman, your speaking privilege is gone.
Oh my god. Dude, imagine if Alyx comes back and she's also mute. Like G-Man freaking stopped her from saying anything just in case they like witness weird things in the void.
Alyx shows back up and Eli's like, holy shit, you're alive. And she just holds up a sign like, yes. Like, why aren't you talking? I forgot how to on the sign.
Dude, it would be so amazing if like Adrian Shepard comes out, instead of animating like every other character, he just started moving like the regular players.
Comes back, but they did it update his model, he still looks like his Half-Life 1
He
variant.
still looks like Half-Life 1 and he still moves like he's a Half-Life 1 player. Like, he can only communicate through, like, nods and shaking his head, and he does the thing where he points his gun up and down, and then points it left and right.
And they acknowledge, like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? I have no idea.
I have no idea. That military training is really ingrained. He moves a lot like Gordon.
Looks like cardboard.
I really hope
I
that...
love-
I really hope that they acknowledge the timeline where Gordon is just a speedrunner and destroys everything in less than an hour.
I wish it was acknowledged more that Gordon is probably more than just like he probably did more than just be a theoretical physicist.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish people would look at him more in, like in the universe and just be like, Gordon, how the fuck did you survive Black Mesa?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have to eventually, at some point, when sitting down, just really look at him and be like, "How you?"
Well, I was a theoretical physicist, and I thought about
No,
how I
no,
could
I get
theoretically get out.
I get that. Where the fuck do you operate and move like a super soldier? Like they never mention this. They never question them. Look at him and be like, "Why are you so good at fighting?" No one in Black Mesa trained you to take down the entire U.S. military. Then you did.
You just did. And don't give me bullshit that it was just your suit.
Yeah, I really want to just see a moment where Eli looks and is like, "How the fuck did you take down the military
Uh.
and the Combine? Who are you?"
Took down the entire military and the Combine, and then Alex also did it.
Eli's like, "Damn, when do I get to take the military down? It must not be that hard."
Gordon literally came and is like, "What? You guys are trying to take down the military? Why aren't we there right now? How are we supposed to take it down from here?" And then he just went there himself and did it.
He did. He showed up. G-Man just like threw him into Half-Life 2. He shows up and is like, "Oh, Gordon, it's you. I can't believe it. We're trying to take down the military. Where did you go?" And then just literally the giant citadel thing just like collapses. And it's like, oh
my god. It was so fun. It was like literally Gordon Freeman appears and everything caught fire. Like nothing was wrong with the Citadel by that point. It's just G-Man showed up and everything, even unrelated to him, immediately started going batshit.
Yes. Everything was fine. The Combine had complete control over Earth. Gordon shows up and like a week later the Combine is gone. No connection to Earth, completely
All
severed.
control
They can't
gone.
There's-
like 2/3 of their military are dead because of one guy.
just because of Gordon Freeman. They must hate him. They must despise Gordon. This would be like,
I don't understand how people aren't afraid of him.
that's fair. Why don't people look at Gordon with fear? You think you'd go up? You think when you like meet Gordon, you'd be like, "Oh God." Like he's essentially the Doomslayer of the Half-Life universe.
Yeah, that's the thing about games like this, like Halo, like Half-Life, where you gotta realize that this guy and these guys have taken on entire alien armies, entire real life armies, entire militaries, and they're still alive, and they did those things by themselves, but the game just doesn't acknowledge that.
Yeah, it's just like, no, it was easy. Didn't take any effort. It's fine.
I mean, Half-Life 2, like, that's one of the reasons why Doom is, again, so good with it, is because they acknowledge that you literally took on all of hell by yourself and won by a landslide.
Yes. And they acknowledge it. And it was like, what the fuck?
They acknowledge it, and everyone's afraid of you because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be.
You piss off this guy, and he will rip you in half, and there's no more hell to go to because he destroyed it.
He destroyed it.
Like someone of that, there has to be story repercussions of that, and there is, and it's great. And they kind of did that with Half-Life 1 to Half-Life 2, but especially after the events of Half-Life 2, they have to bring that kind of stuff back.
Yeah, I really hope they just like at least one joke of just like he can't manage to do something, and it's like you're Gordon fucking Freeman. You blew up 2 militaries. I don't even know who did that. I don't think you're a theoretical physicist anymore. I want like one tiny portion where like just somebody mentions like Gordon, it's you, and like he mentions he's like he's like, oh, I remember you from military training.
I really hope that someone acknowledges how Alex, who has never done anything like what she did in Half-Life Alyx before, never done anything like it, and never did in the original timeline, just decided one day to take on everyone and break their Father 3 and break the G-Man free, and had never done anything like that before. Just took on the most secure thing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if there at some point was like, you know, it's really weird. There was like that one day where like I got arrested, and then Alex just went complete ape shit. Went off and like took down most of the Combine at the moment. I'm not sure what that was about. We never really went over that.
There are a bunch of isolated events where one person just became really uncharacteristically overpowered, like Barney and Barney and Blue Shift.
Yes, Barney just like possessed the power of God. That's the best one though. That's the best one. Barney's there's like, shit, things look fucked. I want to go home, and then he possesses the power of God so that he can do that, and then he does.
And then he gets
Barney
to go
becomes godly powerful and just leaves. I kind of wish G-Man did show up, just so Barney could go, "No, I'm good," and then he lets him leave.
Just leave.
And G-Man's like, "Oh,
my God, I wanna know the timeline where I wanna know the timeline where someone took the G-Man's offer of freaking, what was it? It was like a fate not even you can win or something. What was
battle you can't win.
Yeah, and then someone takes that and then they fucking win.
Yeah, battle you have
And
no
they just
chance
leave.
of winning. They take it and then they just win, and G-Man's like, "Oh."
Like, what if that's what fucking Adrian Shepard did?
Yeah.
What if that's how he leaves?
Like, no, I don't want to work for you. I want to leave. I was like, here you go, and he just expects him to die, and then he shows back up 10 minutes later. He's like, all right, can I go now? He's like, how the fuck? G-Man's just confused at that point. Lets him
How
go.
did you do that? I'm surprised that G-Man isn't freaking afraid of Gordon Freeman.
Yeah. Or we should probably end our podcast.
Oh yeah, it's about 2 hours and it's very late. I hope everyone has a very good night. We talked a lot about Sonic the Hedgehog in this podcast. I'm sorry for that.
I love Sonic the Hedgehog.
I love Mario.
Super All Stars 3D.
Oh wait. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna find it.
Super 3D All Stars.
Oh, what was it called? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we talked about Mighty Number 9 so much this stream, guys. I promise there won't be as much Mighty Number 9 talk in the next Pineapples and Pixels podcast. We're just very passionate about Mighty Number 9.
Just a little because of Mighty Number 9 VR.
Because of Mighty Number 9 colon Mighty Number 8. Yeah, but hope everyone has a good night. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing statements, Apit?
I
You're gonna
hope
offer me a
Half-Life
bet.
3 exists eventually.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's the real battle that we have no chance of winning. The battle for Half-Life 3. Anyways, hope everyone has a good night. Bye.